They are arresting her again. The crowd roars, a Kenyan tempest swirling around a lone woman. Wangari Maathai, her green headscarf defiant against the khaki uniforms, is dragged away. Her crime? Planting trees. In a land ravaged by deforestation, a woman dared to sow hope, one seedling at a time, igniting a movement that would challenge power and ultimately earn her the Nobel Peace Prize. For centuries, stories whispered on the African winds have celebrated the strength and resilience of its women. Tales of mothers, warriors, healers, the very backbone of our communities. But sometimes, the most profound power lies not in the clash of spears, but in the quiet act of planting a seed. Imagine a land scarred by deforestation, its people struggling to survive as the earth beneath their feet turns to dust. A land robbed of its natural heritage, its future hanging precariously in the balance. Now, picture a woman, armed not with weapons, but with an unwavering conviction and a handful of seedlings. What if I told you that a single African woman almost single-handedly reversed this ecological devastation? In 1977, Professor Wangari Maathai, a Kenyan biologist, initiated the Green Belt movement. Her idea was simple, yet revolutionary: empower women to plant trees. Not just any trees, but indigenous trees, restoring ecosystems, providing fuel, and creating livelihoods. Initially, she faced fierce opposition. Ridicule, suspicion, even threats. But she persisted, driven by a fierce love for her country and an unshakable belief in the power of ordinary people. Because Maathai understood something profound, that environmental degradation wasn't just an ecological problem, it was a social justice issue. She rallied women across Kenya, equipping them with the skills and resources to become environmental champions. She taught them how to nurture seedlings, how to care for the land, and how to stand up for their rights. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's admirable. Planting a few trees is a nice gesture. But this wasn't just a few trees. This was an ecological revolution. A silent, green uprising led by women. Because, incredibly, Wangari Maathai and the Green Belt movement didn't plant a few trees. Not hundreds, not thousands, not even millions. Wait, what? They planted over 47 million trees. Why it matters now? The seeds of African power, the tenacity we see blossoming today, weren't sown yesterday. They are ancient, deeply rooted. And to understand the force that drove Wangari Maathai, to grasp the potential within every African woman, we must acknowledge this legacy. We often hear about the glories of Rome, the might of Augustus Caesar. But few know the story of Queen Amanirenas of the Kingdom of Kush, in what is now Sudan. In 24 BC, Rome, hungry for expansion, dared to encroach upon Kushite lands. Amanirenas, a one-eyed warrior queen, didn't just defend her territory, she aggressively pushed back. Her armies marched north, challenging Roman dominance. She didn't just win a battle, she commanded a years-long campaign that forced Caesar himself to reconsider his ambitions. Rome, the empire that prided itself on conquering all, couldn't conquer Kush. And here's the part they conveniently leave out of the history books: Rome to the Kingdom of Kush. They signed a peace treaty favorable to Kush in 21 BC. Imagine Rome, at the height of its power, humbled by an African queen. This wasn't an isolated incident, a fluke of history. It speaks to a resilience, a strategic brilliance, and an unwavering spirit that has been consistently underestimated, dismissed, or deliberately erased. Because understanding this, truly internalizing this history, changes everything. It reframes the narrative, dismantles the myths of inherent inferiority, and reveals the astounding truth of African female power. This isn't just about the past. It's about unlocking the future. It shapes the potential of the women who walk this earth today. It's about understanding the deep wellspring of strength from which Wangari Maathai drew her vision. And here is the revelation: Wangari Maathai wasn't just planting trees. She was replanting a truth that had been buried for centuries, a truth about the inexhaustible power of African women. Wangari Maathai's legacy isn't just about trees, it's about empowerment. It's about seeing the interconnectedness of our environment, our livelihoods, and our very freedom. Today, as climate change disproportionately impacts Africa, and as women continue to fight for their rightful place at the table, Wangari's story resonates more powerfully than ever. Her spirit lives on in every African woman who dares to challenge the status quo, who understands that sustainable solutions start with community action, and who recognizes the profound power within themselves to shape a better future. Inspired to be a change maker. Explore the PornoAfric Creator Kit at pornoafric.com/shop.html and start telling your own African story. It's time for our voices to be heard. Tag someone who needs to hear the African Story Globe Show in Europe, Africa.